Just because agreed to accept a defense for a case, this young lawyer was caught in the trap of a criminal gang. Then he still had to go through a lot of extremely scary things, but from here he discovered a horrible secret behind the above case. So how terrifying were the events that this young lawyer experienced? And what is the dark truth behind that mystery case? Let's find out together now. The main character Singh is a talented young lawyer who just helped a destitute woman win an appeal against a pharmaceutical company in the appellate court. After returning to his office and having a meal, he suddenly sees news about a murder case on TV, and surprisingly, his manager announces that he will be responsible for this case because someone specifically appointed him as the defense lawyer. He is then taken to meet the person who appointed him. Turns out he was the chairman of that pharmaceutical company. The chairman told all the details of the case to him. The driver of the chairman is believed to be the mother suspect, since the police have not found the victim's body. So he wants Singh to defend this case. Unable to refuse, he agrees to participate. Singh and his colleagues immediately went to the crime scene to find clues. The security cameras here captured the victim carrying a luggage up the stairs, but then she disappeared, leaving only bloodstains in the room. The murder and the victim were in a relationship. So what is the purpose of the driver after killing his lover? Singh was thinking deeply when the court team also arrives to the crime scene. The surprising thing is that the prosecutor assigned to this case was once trained by Singh. However, with the current situation, they are now facing each other. So the prosecutor appears cold to Singh. Singh then goes to meet the suspect for further investigation. At this moment, the driver still says he is not the killer. He is in love with the victim, so there is no reason to do so. The driver explains that when he arrived at the crime scene, there was only a pool of blood left. While panicking, he accidentally touched the murder weapon. Because he had a criminal record, he was afraid to report it to the police. However, the current clues are putting the driver at a disadvantage. Singh advises him to be honest to find a solution, but the driver still insists that he is not a murderer. The next day Singh went to work. Two men come to meet him. They were colleagues of the driver who came to assist in the case, but in fact they accepted the chairman's order to follow Singh. At this time, the driver's father comes to visit him and shares the difficult situation their family is facing, especially with his mother was still in hospital. However, the driver said that everything will be fine and the salary will still be sent to his parents. Singh and his colleagues return to the crime scene and discover that they can access the victim's house from below. One of his colleagues immediately practiced, and after some difficulty, he successfully climbs up to the upper. Before leaving, Singh also discovers that the door of the victim's house has a malfunctioning, the electronic lock missing a battery. He takes a photo of it as evidence. Later, the preliminary trial of the driver was held. According to the indictment, the victim lost about 40% of the blood in her body, normally cannot live, and her body still hidden by the killer. At this time, a bloodstain analysis expert is invited to the court. When Singh brought up the first picture, he determined that it was a bloodstain from the wound cut in the aorta. But when Singh switches to the second photo, which is the suspect's shirt worn during the incident, the analyst reveals that it was a blood smear from someone and the suspect's fingerprints on the murder weapon were intentionally created. Singh said that the driver and the victim were in a relationship. When he arrived to her apartment, the door was not locked because the electronic lock was missing a battery. That means the suspect was trapped by the real killer. With extremely sharp and convincing arguments, it seemed like Singh had successfully proven the innocence of the driver. Suddenly the driver stood up and admitted to being the real murderer, making everyone in the courtroom surprised. Then he was escorted away by the police. Singh still did not understand what was happening. He was also faced to made of faked evidence to win the trial. Due to this, his manager asked him to withdraw from the case. At the same time, the police were still searching for the victim's body, but no results yet. Singh appeared suddenly and said that the driver had no idea where the body was because he wasn't the real killer. Singh said if the victim's body found today, he would take full responsibility. Singh was then dragged out. Before leaving the crime scene, he also tried to tell the prosecutor to talk to him if she couldn't find the body. That evening the prosecutor met with Seul. Singh started to connect the pieces of evidence. Before the incident occurred, the real killer knew she went outside. He waited in a place without surveillance cameras, then took the opportunity to climb the wall into the apartment. He waited for the victim to return and immediately attacked, then put her body into a suitcase. He removed one battery from the electronic lock and unlocked the door. Finally, the killer jumped down and left. When the driver arrived, he fell into the trap. However, it was strange that he suddenly confessed. Singh realized that there was only one possibility. From the beginning, the driver wanted to be arrested because someone had bribed him. However, the prosecutor said that the driver's bank account had just been withdrawn 3 million won. This information left Singh feeling confused. He came to a special friend to investigate the call history of the driver. They discovered his last call with a man named Kim. After a difficult time, they finally find out the location of Kim. With enough information, Singh and his team begin to find him. When they arrived, they were surprised to find it was a crematorium. Singh discovered the person named Kim was doing some suspicious activities. He and his team quickly made a plan and split up to take action. Singh entered the warehouse to search for clues. After searching for a while, he suddenly saw a hand sticking out from a sack and a metal box beside it. When Singh opened the box, he was extremely scared to find a human head inside. But then Singh was discovered by Kim. Faced with a dangerous situation, fortunately his colleague rushed to his rescue in time. They quickly tied Kim up and began interrogating him. Kim said that the body belonged to a person with a bad disease, and he was about to sell the body part to the hospital for medical treatment. Singh showed Kim a picture of the victim from the case and asked if he knew the girl and if the driver had handed over the body to him. However, Kim appeared confused and didn't understand what Singh was saying. However, Kim revealed that the driver had ordered a human head for 3 million won and would trade at the Central City Fair tomorrow. On the next day, Kim still went to the transaction location, but all his actions must follow the instructions from Singh. The box containing the human head was placed in locker number 18 as required. Singh set up a trap and waiting for the driver. But until night, locker 18 remained closed. Suddenly a large number of people rushed to the fair. In chaos of mass, the box disappeared. Seeing this, he immediately ran around looking for it and found a masked person carrying the box on a motorbike. Without hesitation, he rushed onto his car to chase after the masked person, continuously weaving through the narrow roads. Fearing to lose tracking, he grit his teeth and drives into the middle of road barriers, causing his new car to break down. Without any means of support, he had to run by his legs. Fortunately, Singh was familiar with the terrain. He took a shortcut to catch up. Meanwhile, the masked person rushed into a camping resort. The narrow terrain caused his motorbike to get stuck. At this moment, Singh also arrived, but he was caught in a tent and dragged to the ground. His body was hit by everything around, causing intense pain. Fortunately, the rope broke to help Singh escape from danger. On the other hand, the masked person fell after tripping over a car. Taking this opportunity, Seul rushed to catch the masked person. But when he took off the helmet to see who it was, he was surprised it turned out to be Minju, the victim of the case. Then he took her to a safe place and started asking her. Minju revealed that the body she bought was a person who died from using medication produced by the pharmaceutical company. She intended to use it as evidence to sue the company for producing a deadly drug, which was developed by her own father. Her father used to refuse the use of this drug, but the chairman faked the report and fired him out of company. Consumed by guilt, her father hung himself. Minju drew out this plan to make the chairman pay for his crimes. After that, Singh went back to meet the driver and informed him that the victim of the case was still alive. However, the driver didn't show any surprise. This time, Singh shows the driver's previous traffic accident file and raised suspicions that the chairman had hired someone with a criminal record to be the driver, which was highly unusual. Furthermore, on first day at work, the driver caused an accident, but the chairman still bailed him out. This could only mean that he became an employee after the accident occurred. In order to save his hospitalized mother and pay his father's debt, the driver accepted the order to approach Minju to steal the report and kill her. Unexpectedly, he has feelings for her, so he does not want to kill. However, if he betrayed the chairman, his family would be in danger. Finally, they make a fake murder case to deceive the chairman. Singh now understands why the chairman hired him, because even if he knows everything, he can't make it public, because the representative lawyer is not allowed to disclose unfavorable statements about their client. Interestingly, the victim of the murder case is at his place. Afterward, he called the chairman that he has obtained evidence proving that the driver was innocent and coming to him. However, when the car just arrived, Singh and Minju were suddenly attacked by a group of gang and took to meet the chairman. When Singh woke up, his neck wore a device that delivers electric shocks every time he tries to speak. The chairman treats Singh as nothing more than a dog and uses this method to warn him to keep the mouth. Singh is injected with an anesthetic by the gangs and then fall in sleep. When he wakes up, he was lying at home and everything around was messy. Singh recalls the wild partying with a group of people. When Singh went to the office, he saw his name in a list of people who have used drugs. The manager also gave him the evidence of his wild partying. and this trap could ruin Seung's reputation and even go to jail. However, Minju hasn't yet revealed where the report is hidden. If Seung can find it, he can clear his name of drug using list. With no other options, he decides to follow this plan. He goes to the prison to meet the driver again. He tells the driver that Minju is being held by the chairman, making the driver lose his temper and intending to attack him. But Seung doesn't defend and says,
"My life has been ruined because of helping you two. Now I am also threatened by the chairman to find the report. If you know where, please tell me. I will find way to rescue your girlfriend."
Hearing that, the driver agrees to help Seung. Following his instructions, they obtain the report from a private hospital. Then he immediately drives to meet the chairman. When the chairman receives the phone containing sensitive data from Seung, he threw it into the fire and laughed with satisfaction. At this moment, Seung said that wants to continue being the lawyer for the chairman and the pharmaceutical company because he already knows too many secrets about them. If he was a defense attorney, he won't be able to reveal any unfavorable information. To gain their trust, Seul has defended for the pharmaceutical company in the retrial with the woman who has cancer and he win. The prosecutor visibly frustrated with him in front of the chairman. At this time, the driver's father visited his son in prison and informed him that the chairman had sent a lot of money and said that the body of the case would soon be found. Upon hearing this, the driver yelled and asked his father to quickly call the prosecutor to come here. When the prosecutor arrived, the driver told her everything, included that Minju was currently in a hospital outside the city. Seung had just received a mission from the chairman. He had to separate body off and put it in a suitcase. The process was monitored by the gang through cameras. At this time, the police, following information provided by the prosecutor, has appeared outside the location. However, the gangs has blocked all the doors to obstruct the police and attempted to destroy the evidence of the chairman's crimes. Meanwhile, Seung was holding an axe and preparing for the confrontation. On outside, the prosecutor drove her car straight into the gang's headquarters, trying to break through the obstacles. The police team quickly arrest all the gang members outside. The guys inside immediately cut off all power. Seung, after hesitating for a while, has executed follow the plan. He placed the victim's body into a suitcase and gave it to the gang. Afterward, he had to stay to clean up the crime scene. When the police see blood stains on the stairs and followed it downstairs, they discovered the crime room. When the police break down the door, they find that all traces inside had been erased. Meanwhile, the gang had just finished burying the suitcase in the ground, and Seung has returned to drink with the chairman. While drunkenly, Seung said, "I am a murderer, and you are an accomplice." However, the chairman laughed loudly and confidently, relying, "What can those prosecutors do to me? Even if I committed a crime, they would never find any evidence." The next day, the chairman had a conference among pharmaceutical companies to give a presentation about the drug product he stole patents from. The police found the suitcase containing the victim's body, and Seung was in the final trial of the driver. The driver was convicted of murdering his girlfriend and providing false information to disrupt the investigation. The prosecutor requested the death penalty for the driver. At this moment, Seung stood up and declared that the defendant was innocent. Then Minju suddenly appeared, causing everyone extremely surprised. After the court verified the identity, the driver was finally declared innocent. It turns out that Seung had secretly made a plan. He used the body taken from Kim, and during the power outage, he took the opportunity to exchange the suitcases. Then he used prepared bags' blood to create a fake crime scene. At this time, the prosecutor noticed something unusual about the body buried in the suitcase. Shortly after, she received a report sent by Seung. Meanwhile, the chairman was still busy with the conference. When he had just finished reading the presentation, suddenly the big screen showed a video of his criminal evidence. It turned out that while drinking, Seung secretly recorded his words. With the indisputable evidence, the chairman was immediately arrested. Then he lives the rest of life in prison for various crimes, and Seung's manager was also arrested because accomplices. In the end, those who do bad things will always receive a bitter end. What do you guys think about this movie? Leave your comment below. Today's movie is over. If you like it, remember to click like and subscribe to my channel. Remember to breathe. See you.